What is up, everybody? My name is Wes. This is Top Shelfers, and we're going to be trying to change up our formula a little bit of how we do these game reviews. So, if this is your first time watching, I'll kind of go over it. I stream games, and what you're seeing on screen right now is footage from one of my live streams. Actually, if I move my face, it's my face. Hello. I beat these games live. Some games I play off stream, and I don't end up doing a full review for them. However, I love playing games and I love reviewing them. This is kind of my criteria on what I review on, how I do a review. I rate on 10, sometimes 11 different categories. That's graphics and visuals, gameplay mechanics, story narrative, audio and sound design, replay value, difficulty and balance, world design and exploration, performance and technical stability, community and multiplayer, innovation and originality, and hours versus dollars. And today we are ranking or reviewing all of Poppy Playtime, chapters 1 through 4 that are available now. Hopefully 5 will be out in the near future. I have a lot of good to say about this game. I had an absolute blast through the whole entire endeavor. It is a horror-esque game that it's kind of 90s themed with commercials and different things like that. I'll kind of try and make my face a little bit bigger so we don't see the in-game chat here. There's like cut scenes throughout the game that are like 90s commercials, and then you play through these chapters and there's different like headlining bosses. Like right here, this is one of the bosses where you can't look, if you look away from her, she charges at you, right? Like just a lot of really cool ideas in this game, and it was a lot of fun to go through. So let's get into our ranking here already. So first one is graphics and visuals, and that's the quality of the game's graphics, including art style, realism, animation quality, and overall visual appeal. And I do these out of a 1 through 10, and then we will do an overall score at the end. I thought the visuals in this game were awesome. They were creepy when they needed to be creepy. They were silly when they needed to be silly. And you're at a toy factory, like a 90s toy factory, 80s toy factory, where everything pretty much went haywire. So there's also got to be that element of, sort of silliness that comes with it. So with that being said, I'm honestly going to give graphics and visuals for this game. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty solid. Gameplay mechanics, so how smooth and intuitive the controls are, the complexity and depth of gameplay systems, the overall enjoyment of the game. Basically how the game works is, if you look, you can see how we have 2 hands here. These hands have different abilities associated with them. Later on, you get a flare gun hand that you can kind of scare stuff away, and then you also get like a jumping hand and a few other things. It felt unique enough, and it also didn't feel repetitive, which is one thing that I was kind of concerned early on with the game, is like, are we gonna get bored of this type of style of play? And the answer is no. I didn't get bored playing this game at all. I actually had fun almost through the whole entire thing. There was moments of pretty good scares. I don't get jump scared. If you watch live, you know this by now, but it was interesting to go through this game. I thought it was fun. There was some challenging parts. The puzzles were so, like, there wasn't anything crazy, but there was also some that took a little thought to it. For example, this one we're kind of watching in the background right now is a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to give this a 7.5. Story and narrative. So the quality of the storyline, character development, dialogue, and how engaging and immersive the overall narrative experience is. This game's story is absolutely insane. There are so many left turns, and I don't want to get into it too deep because I don't want it to be spoilers, but I mean, just imagine going into a toy factory and all of your nightmares coming true. There's different creatures of varying size and creepy factor trying to kill you. They all have a backstory on why. Of course, there's one big bad that's trying to get you, and there's so many layers to the story. Now it does suck because there's only 4 chapters out. They're going to do 5. That's hopefully coming out next year. So we don't have a conclusion yet, but with what is out, the story is phenomenal. There's so much to it. There's so much lore. There's so much backstory. You know, you could really dig into it. Just the lore itself is hours of entertainment. So for story and narrative, I'm going to give it a 7.5. Audio and sound design, so the quality of the sound effects, music, and voice acting, and how well they contribute to the atmosphere and overall gaming experience. I think it's done very well in this game. There's moments of well, let's see if we can skip through it. Yeah, there's VHSs in the game where it completely takes you out for a second and gives you some backstory or some lore. Jacksepticeye was a voice actor on one of the videos. I know some of the other bigger YouTubers at the time were on there. There's Easter eggs like scattered throughout the whole entire game. Uh, the the sound is great. The audio is good. I mean, I can give you guys a sneak peek of just yeah. I need to chill out. Just shut up, past me. You know, everything sounds fun in the game. There's always something creepy going on. It really was done well. So we're gonna give that a 7.5 as well. Replay value, the extent to which the game encourages replayability through multiple endings, side quests, new game plus, multiplayer modes, and other factors. I would say this is probably one area where it's pretty weak. I have no desire to go back and play the game again. Not because it wasn't fun, but like there's just not really any reason to unless I was searching for more Easter eggs, which I don't really think I will ever. I might revisit like the previous chapter's ending when chapter 5 comes out, but aside from that, I don't think I'll be doing much replay of this game. So I'm going to give it a 5.5. Difficulty and balance. So how well the game is balanced in terms of challenge, difficulty, progression, and fairness, catering both casual and hardcore gamers. I think that they do a really good job at this on both fronts. There's some stuff that I feel like any random gamer could hop in and do the first time and not have any issue. And then there's some stuff that does take a little bit of a little bit of attempts. We had, especially this area right here and going into the next area, we had to reset multiple times to try and beat certain parts. And it's a lot of it just comes down to timing and precision. I don't think this is a game that is overly difficult. I wouldn't say that you need to be an expert gamer to do any of this. If you can do basic puzzles and move around, you should be able to find success at some point. But there are some difficult parts. I would definitely not say a hardcore gamer looking for an extreme challenge is going to enjoy this game. But there were moments where I was like, oh, we gotta slow down and figure this out a little bit. So with that being said, I'm going to give that a 6. World design and exploration. So the richness and detail of the game world, the diversity of environments, and the sense of discovery and exploration offered to the player. It is open world, right? You can go to different places, but it still is kind of on rails in the sense of you are moving forward in certain directions, but you still can go and explore. I think that they do a phenomenal job of diversity of environments. There's chapters in this game that look like completely different games from the previous chapters. And you know, that's something that you got to give kudos to. You got to give kudos to the people who are making these games. Like there's environments in this game, like specifically going into the final chapter, that it felt like we were walking into a whole different game. And that's pretty amazing to do. There's a whole entire area that you guys are going to see right here that like is the hub of two different areas. Like this is like your middle area, and then there's like a bunch of other buildings to go explore, and it is so cool. I think this is an area of the game that they did very well, and I am going to give it an 8. Performance and technical stability. So how well the game runs technically, including factors such as frame rate, loading times, optimization across different platforms, and the absence of bugs and glitches. Sadly, this is going to be the worst score. There are bugs and glitches littered throughout the game. This isn't a big development company, even if you look at the graphics and think it's probably a AAA. It's not. It's very far from it. Um, However, with that being said, there were lots of times that we had to restart due to glitches, and I thought we weren't even going to be able to beat the final chapter due to some like game breaking glitches. Like we were getting shot out of the map. It was pretty bad. Frame rate was good throughout. Loading times were decent throughout. I don't know about optimization across different platforms, but I figure it's probably good. People watching were saying they play on the Switch and they never had issues. So I'm going to give that, though, a 4 because of the game breaking glitches near the end. Community and multiplayer. So the quality of the online features, multiplayer modes, community engagement, and support for play interaction and socialization. We had a absolute flood of awesome people who came in who are big fans of the Poppy Playtime world, and I have to say that the community for this game is so amazing. They're so friendly. They're so excited about the game that they love, the lore, the characters. They want to see more people playing the games and tell them all about the secrets and the lore and everything like that. It was such a joy to be a part of this community for the time that I was. And excited to rejoin it when Chapter 5 comes out. So I'm going to give community score of a 9. Innovation and originality. So the extent to which the game introduces fresh ideas, innovative gameplay mechanics, or unique twists on existing genres, contributing to its overall creativeness and distinctiveness. This is such a tough one. When we talk about horror games, right, it's really difficult to be creative now in the horror genre because so many people like to rinse and repeat the same thing, or they like to just focus on the jump scare elements or different things like that. This game felt fresh because it was a fresh idea, and I love the hand mechanic. That was something that I haven't like done in different, like in another game, where we're using like coordinating our hands because they have different abilities. Like I felt like that was fresh and new and unique. At its core, though, it does feel like a pretty typical horror game. You have a story, bad guys, direction, jump scares, all that. But with the art style, with the hand movements, and how you basically play the game, I thought it was creative enough, and it took a lot of stuff from other games and really put it together into like a really good product. Um, I don't think that they reinvented the wheel, but I also don't think that they broke the wheel or damaged it in any way. I'm going to give this a 7.5. And then, of course, hours versus dollars. So let's get our good old Steam up here. I'll get this all set up because there were multiple. Oh, wait, no, we can just see the whole time here. So, Poppy Playtime. Here is our friend Huggy Wuggy. He is one of the creepy creatures that you meet pretty early on. Um, the thing with this game is you have to buy all of the separate chapters. So right here, if you buy the bundle, chapter 2, 3, and 4. So the first chapter is free to play, so which is always a plus. That's points there. And then chapter 3, 2, 3, and 4 right now is $30. I don't know why it's a different price if you buy them separately. I don't know. Maybe just a weird Steam thing. And then we have 14.7 hours in it. So you're talking $30, right? It was $30. $30 for all of Poppy Playtime right now. 15 hours. So you're getting what's that? It's 50 cents for every hour. No, what? Half hour for every dollar. Gosh, why I felt so dumb when I said that. So it's pretty good. We try and shoot. I like to see $1 an hour, but as games are growing and things are changing, that kind of equation just isn't going to work anymore. So I'm fine with 30 minutes for every dollar. I feel like that's a valid thing. 15 hours, you're going to enjoy it. I do move pretty quick in games, so you could probably get 20, 25 out of it if you're looking for stuff. And that's pretty close to $1 an hour. I'm going to give this a 7.5. So, with all that being said, let's break out our handy dandy calculator. Shout out Blues Clues. And let's calculate our score here. So we have an 8, 7.5, 7.5. Oh my gosh. 8 plus 7.5, 5.5, 6, 8. Oh no. What did I do? Plus 8 plus 4 plus 9. 78 points out of 100, which turns out 7.8 out of 10 for Poppy Playtime chapters 1 through 4. I'm pretty happy with that score, all things considered. I think that is about where I would put this. I think it is above average, but I don't think it's in the 8s out of 10s. But it's right there. It's right on the cusp of being in that upper echelon. And for me, like, if you made it this far to kind of get my rankings, like I try to be harsh because I don't want to give every game a high rating and I don't want to give every game a low rating, right? So, to compare this to some of the other games on here, Emissary 0, 6.1, like, Don't Look Back at a 4.8. Halo Combat 7.7. So I would put Halo and Poppy Playtime right on the same thing, right? And I don't like to do these reviews in comparison to other games because I want it to be a standalone review, meaning like it's only going against itself. So things where it lacks, it's going to bring down its score. Things where it doesn't lack is going to bring up its score, right? If this game didn't have bad technical issues and bad performance issues, it would be much higher, right? But yeah, that's my score. Let me know if you like this new format, having the game running in the back so you can kind of see what it looks like and how it is. Typically, before this video, I was always doing it right after I beat it on the live stream and then cutting up the video, but I figured I would try this out and see what you guys think. Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me know your thoughts and feelings, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.